Okay, in this situation, we're going to track the motion of these objects. And then we can attach an object to that item that we have tracked. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the very end this time of where the video ends so that the object is bigger, and then we're going to track backwards. Okay, and so what we want to do is once we've tracked one of our guys here, we're going to then attach this text to one of the guys, like a thought bubble sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the layer that we want, which is called Recreation and Leisure Movie. All right, and this time we're going to select Track Motion. All right, and notice that it opens up our layer window, so don't forget to go back to your comp when you want to see what you've done. And now I'm going to go ahead and select this guy in the red, and I'm going to put the tracker right around his face. Maybe I'll just expand it a little bit. And if you look real close, I want to make sure that I'm also seeing a little bit of his helmet, so that there's a nice contrast between the light and dark that the tracker can attach itself to. All right, and now that I'm at the end of the video this time, I'm going to be analyzing backwards. But before I do that, let's go ahead and take a look at these options. And I'm going to select RGB in this situation, and I'm also going to say adapt feature on every frame so that it looks closer at each individual frame. Okay, and I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to analyze backwards. And it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. And notice here where it says Edit Target. I want to make sure it's attaching to the text pre-comp so that it's saying take these frames that you've analyzed and apply it to this text pre-comp. And I'm going to say OK, and then you have to hit apply. And again, X and Y is the select here. And let's go ahead and just move this text up just a little bit here. Okay, now let's see how it goes. Oh, I needed to first place the text in the proper place before I hit apply, but this gives you an idea to see that the text is following this guy exactly to where we've said to put that tracker. So that last video we tracked the position. Now we're going to track scale. So this camera zooms in, and what I want to do is I want to have the text zoom along with it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to, in this case, since the larger is at the head, I'm going to start at this piece of it. Let's just go ahead and turn off the visibility for the text at the moment. I'm going to select this layer, and I'm going to say track motion, but this time I want it to say scale. Okay, so when you do anything, when you do rotation or scale, you get 2 track points. Okay, so in order for it to identify how the camera is zooming, it needs those 2 points. So let's go ahead and find some really obvious places, like that piece here. If you can see what I selected, there's a nice contrast between red and yellow. And then in the corner here, there's this thing sticking out, this little light. So I'm going to select that. And now what I'm going to do is go into my options, and I like this adapt feature on every frame. It takes a little bit more memory, but it does a little better job. And on this situation, I'll leave it in RGB because there's the red and the blue and the black there. That'll work pretty good, I think. And we're going to want the target to, I'll go to the text that says terrorize your neighbors. Say OK. And so it's at the beginning, so I'm going to analyze forward. And it looks like it's doing pretty good. All right, and I'm going to now say apply. And let's go ahead and turn the visibility back on for our text layer. So now you can see that the text is scaling exactly along with the video. Okay, in this situation I'm going to motion track according to rotation. So what I want to do is this line here in this object is a separate layer. And so based on where this airplane is, we're going to have this thing spin, okay, for rotation. So let's go ahead and select our early flight pre-comp, and so that one is selected, and I'm going to say track motion. And now I want this rotation to be selected. I'm going to turn off position. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this airplane here and this airplane over here. And I'm going to go into options. And since there's no color, let's go ahead and use illumination. And I'm going to select adapt on every frame again. Say OK. I want the target to be the layer that has the shape layer 1, which is the one where it has the level. And so let's go ahead and make sure it's selected on that one and say OK. And I'm at the very beginning, so let's go ahead and analyze forward. And hit apply. And now we'll go back to our front layer. Let's hit home and hit space. And so you can see that this thing is animating along with this object here. How many times would you do this specific thing? It's probably never, but that gives you an idea that if you can also motion track and attach objects to not just position, scale, but also rotation. Okay, so let's say you have a video like this where you're trying to track something to it, but it moves out of frame, which is not uncommon. There is a way to work around that. You can also tell your client not to do that, or you can do it frame by frame, which is a possibility, but there's another easier way to do that if you want to use the tracker. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the very beginning of the frame, of the video. We're going to select motion track. Okay, we're in our window here. This time though, we're going to attach the motion to a null. So I'm going to create a new null object. Okay, and so that's just going to sit there for now. But for now, what I want to do is in my tracker, I want to find something. Whoops, let's undo that. And I'm going to move that to, let's say, this object here. This little glint on here, this little green thing here. All right, so I'm making it a little bit bigger. And now in our options, I want to make sure that the luminance is my selection here for this one. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to stop tracking when it is no longer able to follow the thing. And that's what this selection is going to do, ideally, as long as my selection is good. So with that forward here, I'm going to analyze forward. All right, let it do its thing, and when it comes back into frame, we're going to have to fix those things. Okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move the playhead in time and find the point where it no longer is tracking, it's no longer moving. So it gets to this position, and now it's no longer in frame here. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I need to find another thing to select. So I'm going to option move this thing down to another select here. And let's go ahead and select this maybe. All right, notice that there is a little line here. That's telling me it's connected to that. And I held down the option key to make that happen. So now we're going to analyze forward from this point. Let's find exactly where this thing stops moving and the green thing is back in frame. I think that's about right here. All right, so now I'm going to click on this object here, this tracking point. Sometimes it's kind of hard to select the right thing, so I had to do it a few times, but I finally got it, and now I'm going to option dragging to get back to this green glint. And now I'm going to analyze forward. Okay, and I want the target to go to this null and I'm going to say apply. Now in this situation, the camera is only going up and down. It's not going left and right. So I'm going to select Y only in this situation. Okay, and so now I have this null. And so now I can attach some kind of text or anything I want to this null through parenting. So let's just say, I don't know, something really clever like symbol. All right, and let's go ahead and put it over here. And I'm going to parent. I'm going to take the symbol and attach it to the null object. Okay, and so now let's see what it does. Goes up with it, and then it follows that other part. So we might have to figure out where to put the actual text. But as you can see, like, we can then have it go out of frame, change the text when it comes back down. So we can do some interesting things with it. So let's see, let's go back. Maybe if I bring this a little bit lower down here, let's see what it does now. So that gives you an idea on how you can track something even though it might leave the frame. You will need to find something else to track it to and then continue on.